Welcome to Speed Scene Live TV, the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Headers, M&H Tires, and TheFoat.com. With your hosts, Diana Mike, Bruce Barker, and Scott Lucky Hudson.
Hey, welcome to the show, Speed Scene Live. Man, we are action-packed tonight. We've got so much stuff, so many people, so many callers, so much information. So. My name is Lucky. Over here, I've got Hot Rod Bob Beck. Over there, way over there, I've got Donnie Couch, Nitro God, and behind the dials, the controls, the joysticks.
I'm waiting for what comes out for this.
Bruce Barker.
Okay, that's good. That's good. What do you think, Bob?
I don't know. Behind the curtain. Do not pay attention to the man.
Yeah, that's right. Do not pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
Well, we got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to introduce some guests, but I got to tell you that this Thursday, a couple of weeks ago, they started shooting a show out at Irwindale called One and Done, a new TV show. And hey, there's my buddy Mike Blodgett, Racing in Supergas. One and Done is a new show filming at Irwindale, and they're going to film it again this Thursday. So come on out. I'm going to be out there, and if you come on out, maybe, just maybe, you might get picked to be on the show. So come on out, cheer me on. I'm going to try to get on the show, too, in my Curry Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Nova. I'm going to be showing off my new whole shot wheels. And, hey, Mo Wilson will have his badass Nova out there, too.
Yeah, I don't think a whole lot of people yet have seen your new paint job either, right?
No, and actually it hasn't been out of the shop, out of the trailer, out of the driveway until this Thursday.
Man, that baby's going to rock. Hey, March Meet's coming up like next month at Famoso, March 7th through the 10th. You can buy your spectator tickets online right now. All you do is you go to the same place where you can hook up with us in terms of, the instant messaging, the join the crew, and as well when we give all that cool stuff away, which we seem to do so often, at TheFoat.com. That's where you get those spectator tickets, TheFoat.com. And by the way, stop by, see us in the Curry Rear Ends Hedman Hustler Headers booth. Check out the new whole shot wheels on that Nova, too. I know you just mentioned that, Lucky, but we had video a couple of weeks ago as you were putting on the, what do you call it? It's the two-piece.
The bead locks.
Yeah, and I was just going, man.
They look great. They really make the car pop.
Nice. Hey, coming up tonight, one of the best super gas and super comp racers in the world, Tommy Phillips. Also a go-fast young lady named Tara Wendland is going to be in the studio. Wendland, I want to make sure I got that right.
Just say it fast. That's what she told me.
All right, Tara Wendland. Hey, I did it. Also, some guys have done some electric car races. You're going to see this video. It's pretty crazy tonight. They're trying to build a 200-mile-an-hour electric Indy car. So that's all coming up tonight as well.
Hey, Bruce, I think Lucky's been moonlighting. Every Monday night he's on that Sam Oxer Jr. radio show.
That's right, last night, huh?
Yeah, well, Diana Mike was on last night. He wants me to come on next Monday night, but I just want to know, does it pay the same as this show does?
Every bit.
Yes, it's
Good.
a sliding scale.
Good, I'm in there then.
Yeah, his scale's been sliding for years.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Lucky. You didn't explain that part to me. To talk to my agent.
The bumps and bruises in showbiz.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, that's very cool. So Dynamite, I think, was a guest last night on the show. Lucky is a co-host.
That's right. I'm on each and every week, so check me out Monday nights, and that's out of Washington, D.C., so I'm East Coast, West Coast kind of guy.
East Coast, West Coast, baby.
Speaking of West Coast, how you doing? I was at the West Coast Winter Nationals. I'm Bob Beck, and you've got gas here on Speed Scene Live every Tuesday night. But at the Winter Nationals, hey, we were talking to some of the best drivers in Top Fuel and Funny Car.
Dude, are you going to tell us about that tonight?
I am. I'm going to tell you about it, show you some pictures about the guys, and some of the great stuff inside the NHRA Museum.
Okay,
Nice.
Bryant Layton is out on assignment tonight. Normally he delivers the PRP Seats and Belts Off-Road report, so he'll be back soon, after he wipes the dust off and gets those lens cleaners working and stuff like that.
And our 7.0 Pro expert, Tara Wendland, is here. Welcome her to the show.
Hi, I'm Tara Wendland, driver of the Walden Power Equipment Front Engine Dragster. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Tara, it's great to have you on the show, and if you're not only well known as a racer driving that dragster, but you're also well known as one of the country's best photographers, I hear, with Max Cackle Photography, or Max Cackle Photo?
Yes, Max Cackle Photos. You can visit our website at www.maxcacklephotos.com. Cackle, not crackle, like Cacklefest. But yeah, we do about 60 drag racing events all across the country. We're very lucky. We get to travel the world. We're going to the March meet. We go to really cool events like the Boise Night Fire Nationals and Cordova World Series and the Reunion. So very lucky.
Well, but we're going to get into a little bit of that, and we're going to show more of this footage. But before we do, Donnie Couch was at the NHR. Well, you know what? I better not jump on that too soon, because if we play Ron Capps too soon,
Oh, that's right.
No, don't play cap.
we'll mess up. We'll mess up.
We'll have a big problem. There'll be
We
legal
will.
stuff involved.
But Donnie was out at the NHRA Winter Nationals. Donnie, what'd you think of the race out there?
Well, it was a fun weekend. Of course, we're rooting for our buddy that's been on the show here, Ron Capps. He got to the runner-up position, struggled early on, but really poured it on during eliminations. Did a nice interview in preparation for the March meet at Bakersfield. So we had a fun time, with the exception of our camera crew. So sound guy bailed on me. Camera guy failed. We lost a battery.
I heard.
We looked like the Three Stooges, but hey, we got it done.
Now, I know I made a lot of mistakes, but I pulled it off because I acted like nothing was going wrong. I just kept filming with that dead camera, just kept pointing it at Ron Capps.
Yeah, that's half the battle right there, is making you look like you know what you're doing and everything's fine.
Half the battle. So we got a lot going on. Bruce, let's get into our first commercial break, and that way we can get the commercials out of the way. We're going to be talking to a lot of people tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. So let's open up some real estate so we can crowd everything in and pack it in. What do you think, Tara? Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Nice. Speed Scene Live. Keep it here.
Hey, this is Ron Capps, and you're watching Speed Scene Live.
For over half a century, Curry rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Curry lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Curry gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Curry expertise and rock-solid design means the parts will do their job, so you can do yours. Check out Curry's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Curry Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies. And other underside parts, like correct link steering systems, keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Curry rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line online at curryenterprises.com.
Whether you have a hot rod that needs more hustle or a muscle car that needs more muscle, if it's more power you want, Hedman has it. Since 1954, Hedman headers have worked harder, fit better, and lasted longer than the new guys on the block. In fact, Hedman headers are so tough, they're guaranteed for life. So log on to Hedman.com tonight, because if it's more power you want, Hedman has it.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live. I would be the Bruce Barker guy that I'm talking about right now. See what I did there?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
There's Hot Rod Bob in the studio. And as well, Lucky Hudson, of course, tonight. Diana Might is off on assignment tonight. But look at that. Cigar in hand is Donnie Couch, who corrected me just moments ago for what I almost used your last name for, which was missing a letter. So,
Well, you guys, I just came from the Winter Nationals. I thought I'd come here for a break. You guys are wearing me out.
we're wearing us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
Tara
long show.
Wendland's in the studio tonight. We're going to talk cars, fast cars, and more cars.
Now, Tara, Bruce is going to pull up a video pretty soon, but tell us a little bit about your car. I was at the NHRA reunion at Bowling Green, and you won that event.
Yes, that was definitely the highlight of our year last year. we went to that race 2 years before that as photographers, and the first time I ever went to Bowling Green, I fell in love with the track, the covered grandstands and everything. And to be able to race there was just so amazing. We qualified number one with a 7:35 at 180, which was super awesome. Yeah, that car.
This is the other car. This is another car that you've driven before, and this is this at Denton right here?
Yes, that's at Denton, North Star Dragway.
How about that? I recognize the track and the drivers.
Very nice.
Man. Awesome.
Yeah, this year we're going to be racing with a new group that just started in the Southwest called the Southwest Heritage Racing Association. You can visit the website at shraracing.com.
Didn't you race with another group before, and now they kind of transitioned into this group? Mm-hmm. And what is it about this group that you find so attractive?
It's all nostalgia dragsters, altereds. It's a really great group of people. There's also a group down there, the Outlaw Fuel Altereds, another great group of people that we run with.
Isn't the Outlaw Fuel Altereds the group that Rich Howe and his Power Play Fuel Altered races at?
Yeah, they usually get about 20 cars per event. Very, very cool. You can visit their website at ofaa.net.
I've met a lot of the people out there. Marriott's are the ones in charge. But I think one of my favorite racers was a guy named Doodad.
Oh, yeah. Doodad, you can pick him out of a crowd, that's for sure. He's always wearing overalls and has a cigar, kind of like Donnie over there.
Hey, you talking about Rich Howe, the guy that wouldn't drive up to the show because there was too much traffic tonight? Is that the same Rich Howe?
I don't know. I just kept thinking he was going to show up.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah. Well, listen, Tara, we're going to talk to you a little bit more, but you're from Texas, right?
Yes.
You're one of those beautiful Texas girls that everyone talks about. Well, we have another Texan on the line right here. We've got a gentleman by the name of Tommy Phillips, also from Texas. And Tommy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on again. Enjoyed visiting with you guys.
Well, we've had you on the show before, and it was always a pleasure. I got a chance to actually meet you face to face out of Pomona this time.
Yeah, I had a good time there, chatting with you, and I love going out there. We couldn't have better weather this year, that's for sure.
Well, you're in the studio with everybody. We got a young lady by the name of Tara Wendland, who you might be familiar with.
Absolutely, yes. Local here, know her well.
Hi, Tommy.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm excellent. I'm back in Texas now, but I enjoyed the weather while I was out there.
Well, you had a good time out here. Now, I know you went out a little early in the, I think, in the Supercom car. How'd you do in the Super Gas car?
Well, we ended up losing in the quarterfinals at 5 cars. Had a little trouble getting down the racetrack and missed the wall a foot or so. That's not much fun in our kind of racing, but that's okay. We saved everything, and we'll be in Phoenix next week.
Well, I got a question from a racer right here on my crew updates from thefote.com, and he says, what was the track temp at the end of the day on Sunday? I seen him and another car lose traction.
The track temperature for most of the weekend was in the lower 70s. It did get around 80 degrees or so some during the day, but when that particular thing happened, it was about 72 or 73 degrees, and the track was really pretty good most of the time. It's just unfortunately we ran right after the pros there, and they get a lot of clutch dust and debris from their cars, and they swept it off, cleaned it off best they could, and just didn't quite get it done this time, and it happens once in a while. It's not much fun, but that's part of the deal.
Are you saying that the pro cars messed up the track for everyone else? Donnie, have you ever heard that before?
Who is this guy? I'll be in Phoenix. I'll need to look him up. Right?
Just look for the guy in the golf cart with a cigar. He'll be there.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, I know that you're racing under the K&N Filters banner, but tell us a little bit about your sponsors and everybody that's involved with your team.
Well, again, our major sponsors are K&N Filters, which obviously you're familiar with. They're right there in Riverside, and anyone in motorsports knows what pretty much who they are. And CBS ArcSafe is really my major sponsor and has been for this is their 4th year with me. And They build heavy-duty racking equipment for just huge circuit breakers for in the oil field and school districts and cities and craziness like that. In fact, we had about 8 of those people, customers, vendors, employees out there this weekend and to enjoy the event there in Pomona. So that's what they do. They've been involved with my racing program for about 20 years, actually, but the last 4 years they've been major sponsors, and couldn't do it without them. And, of course, we have all the manufacturer sponsors that have been great to me through the years, and, Lucas Oil Products and Hoosier Racing Tire and Hughes Performance and Sunset Racecraft, and they've just, I've been lucky enough through the years to be involved with some cutting-edge type people that have been very loyal to me and vice versa, and it's been good for my program for sure. We do have a couple of new sponsors this year since I talked to you, and Jegs came aboard with us. We've been working together now for a couple of years on different stuff. We built them a car at my shop here a couple of years ago, and so they came on board as an associate sponsor, and my old company, TNT Supercars, the people who build those dragsters that we drive, or that I drive, the company that bought them, we got back together and did some stuff this year, and so they're back on board as a major sponsor, and so that's kind of nice.
Wait a minute. Since we talked, I just talked to you 48 hours ago. You lined up these sponsors since then?
Since I've been on the show, anyway, I guess.
Okay, that makes more sense. I just saw you the other day. I mean, you got to sleep sometime.
Hey, man, you can't. In the fast world of racing, you can't. You got to sleep a minimum amount of time. Somebody pass you by. You know what I mean?
That's right. And I mean, you've raced. You've gone back to Texas. You've picked up more sponsors. You've done it all in no time at all. Now, I know you're a hardcore racer. In fact, we had a conversation about. That's really the core of your personality. You are a hardcore guy, and that's really what you like. Are you happy with your performance so far this year? I know you had a great year last year, so what do you think of yourself so far?
Well, I'm very happy with the cars. A lot of new stuff to start the year, and didn't get to test at home due to the weather, so I was very happy with the cars. I'm my own harsh critic, so I would say my driver's the weak link at the moment. But I had good enough cars to win that race, and drove pretty well. Just didn't have the luck there right at the end, but that's okay. As long as you have good cars and you're driving pretty well, you'll do fine in the end. So while I guess I would like to win every race I go to, we know that's not going to happen. So all in all, I'm happy and looking forward to Phoenix. I think our chances are pretty good there.
Tommy, you had to drive through a big field in both classes, though, didn't you?
Yes, 80-plus Super Comp cars and a little over 70 Super Gas cars, I believe.
Yeah, so getting to the quarterfinals in Super Gas, that's a heck of a job.
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hold myself to a pretty high standard, and at the end of the day, it's about winning. It's not about getting close, and so, to say I was thrilled, no. I was very happy with the cars, and for being off for 2 or 3 months, drove pretty well, pretty happy with that, and like I said, I think we'll do well going forward. That's what I expect anyway.
Well, Tommy, thanks for calling. It's great to hear from you. It's a real pleasure to meet you in person, and I'm glad I got a chance to meet you. So we'll keep an eye on you and call in later in the year and keep us updated.
Absolutely, will do, and maybe when we come back out, I'll definitely be in Pomona for the finals, regardless of how good or bad a year I have, and maybe I'll come by and be in studio. That'd be a good time, and glad you got to have Tara on, and good luck with their program as well.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, you know what, Tara, he's a fellow Texan, and I was talking to him a little bit about the Outlaw Fuel Altereds at Denton, the North Star track, and he was really familiar with the whole program. He says he goes down there and watches those fuel altereds.
Yeah, it's quite a show, especially the nitro cars. Like I said, they have about 20 cars each race, and it is really one heck of a show.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get into the Ron Capps interview in just a minute. But before we do, Donnie, set up the weekend a little bit. I know you're out at the Winter Nationals all weekend. You were there when, of course, Antron had that horrific crash. And a lot of Top Fuel cars running capsules now. New deal.
Well, mostly the Schumacher camp, but John Force, it's his daughter's debut in Top Fuel, so he wanted her to have a canopy. Actually, the true test is, they're in an accident. That's how they really drill down and see if they work. I've worked with these when I had a top alcohol hydro, and we lost one of our drivers, Tim Capaldi, and I worked with the capsule crew there trying to develop that whole deal. It's really nice to see them in Top Fuel. They seal up good. They have driver air. They have fire extinguishers, which Top Fuel guys never had before. Funny cars have to have them. But, it's going to be the trend for all the other teams coming up. But, we had a good time. Antron was okay. It was a terrific accident, and we feel bad for him. But they'll be back at Phoenix. They had a spare car ready to go. But, it's just a fun weekend talking to all the guys like Ron Capps and Jeff Arend and Dale Worsham that are going to be at the March meet racing with us. So that's what they were buzzing about that, even though it was the start of the Mellow Yellow Winter Nationals or the whole season there. Everybody was buzzing about the March meet, so it was really fun.
Well, let's check in with Ron right now.
Hey, Donnie Couch here on assignment for Speed Scene Live. We're at the beginning race of the season for the NHRA Mellow Yellow Championship 2013. I'm here with one of the most popular drivers out here, Ron Capps. Ron, how you doing today?
I'm good, but this Donnie Couch on assignment thing is kind of funny. I don't know. Am I supposed to keep a straight face with that?
Hey, wait a minute. I'm like Ed McCullough. I'll knock you on your ass, right? And what's our saying about Ed McCullough?
Don't be a victim.
Hey, Ron, we have a lot of fans out there. Of course, you've been on the show a couple times. We appreciate it. But it was real disappointing last year, missing the championship by two points. I know we all felt bad, and I know it had to be a long winter for you.
Yeah, you've been in this business longer than I have, and you got to be hot at the right time, especially the countdown that we have. And you have to be good throughout those 6 races. And it's cool. Jack Beckman got a championship. I'm glad we kept it in-house. But losing by 2 points, man, it's like kissing your sister.
Well, we all know that Ron Tobler's his crew chief was Jack Beckman's crew chief. They did a change. Ron's had a bunch of different crew chiefs in the works, been doing good. Of course, our hero, Ed McCullough, we can't count him out. But I think things are settling down. Ron's real methodical. He's one of the best in the business. And we also know that he kind of babysits, and these crew chiefs all work together on your team.
Yeah, and he's got great people under him. We got the same guys coming back. And it's funny, everybody talks about the change that Don Schumacher made last year. And it was, at first it was, woe me, Jack Beckman, he got his crew chief taken away. And I understand how that felt, but you got to remember also that my crew guys at the time had been with me since we were the Brute car. So we got 8 years of me as my crew guys are like family. Same with Jack and his crew guys. And then I had Tim Richards, the general, that just got up and retired right there on the spot at the Vegas race. So it was cool that we had the ability to move people around, but Jack ended up beating us for the championship with Todd. So it was, while it was tough and I felt bad for Jack, I was happy for the guys that used to be my crew guys over there, but we spend more time on the road than we do at home, and so our guys on the road are our family. So it made it tough at first, but I've grown accustomed to having crew chiefs kind of moved around, I guess.
Well, I know that you don't take much time off, even when you're not racing the NHRA trail, because you see in sprint cars, modifieds, nostalgia, funny cars. I think anything with wheels we've seen you in. But recently, I turned in and was watching the Super Bowl, and you're on the sidelines running the sound deflator. What is the name of that equipment you were handling?
Well, I had to look it up. It's a parabolic microphone, and it's those dishes that, you get a microphone. It's the one that actually you can hear the audibleizing by the quarterback. And what was cool was being on the sideline of a huge game like that as a Niner fan was awesome, but I could hear the linemen talking crap to each other and really talking smack, and it's amazing what they pick up. But it's not an easy job, man. You're running around holding that thing trying to get the best sound you can, but what an experience of a lifetime, man.
We were seeing what were the odds. Everybody bets on the game. We were betting to see if you're going to get run over by a linebacker or something. But, hey, how about we bring that out here and we tone in on the smack talk from the crew members? Or maybe you guys we can snoop around with these crew chiefs, see what's going on with them.
Yeah, it's funny. NHRA, they want to mix it up and gain some new fans by getting things, a little more excitement. But as soon as you do something, you get in trouble out here. So it's a fine line you got to walk with NHRA. We're so corporate out here with sponsors like Napa that you have to watch what you do every minute of the day. But if you could hear some of the, you've heard it, but if you could hear some of the smack talk going on out here, it'd be pretty funny.
Of course, we're all excited for the March meet coming up in Bakersfield, California. Ron, we understand you're going to drive for Steve Pluger up there. I know you have a real strong passion for these nostalgia cars.
I do, and I can remember going with I can remember going when Soapy Sales' car was out there. It was one of the only really nostalgia funny cars when they had the front motor cars that you guys were doing, and everybody was trying to kick this nostalgia funny car thing off. And of course, my buddy Jeff Gaynor got me into one of his cars, and I was hooked. In fact, it was one of the NHRA nostalgia races we ran here at Pomona, and I drove his car and Poldy tuned it. And what an experience that was to drive a 70 CUDA body nostalgia funny car with Dale Poldy, pointing at me through the windshield. That was pretty cool. But you know what? We're here at the Winter Nationals, and my mind is already at the March meet. I love racing nostalgia cars. I love the people, the racers. I love getting up there. Some people think that smell up at Famosa is a petri, terrible smell of those, the orange peelings over there. But to me, that brings my childhood back. I mean, I love that smell when you roll into Famosa.
Of course, you drove Dale Worsham's car up there. We got Chad Head coming out. And, you had a bad accident up there with Jeff Gaynor's car. Hey, let me ask you, what does Schumacher say about you driving all this stuff? There's got to be a risk here. Most popular driver out here. Yeah, what's he say about that?
When he hired me, we went to corporate headquarters at Napa, and he told them that I love to go race other stuff, and they love that. There's a risk of getting hurt, but I'm usually pretty good about choosing what I do. Gaynor's car, I wasn't sure I was the smartest guy at one point, but there's nothing like running good with a car put together by Jeff Gaynor. But it was a blast. And Steve Pluger, we set the record with that car, and I get to drive the LA Hooker again this year, and I can't wait.
Well, Ron, it's been a pleasure. We wish you good luck here at the Winter National. Look forward to seeing you at the March meetup in Famosa.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, man, always good to talk to Ron Capps. Boy, nice job there, Donnie Couch on camera.
Yeah. Hey, Tara, you've been to the March meet before, haven't you?
Yes, last year was my first year. It's just really indescribable, the March meet. Nitro everywhere. It's the coolest race that we go to the entire year.
Now, you're going as a photographer, not as a racer.
Yes, we'll be shooting for CompetitionPlus.com. Be sure to check out photos there.
Nice. So you get some photos of Donnie. He'll be out there. Well, I'm not really sure what he's doing.
Yeah, well, he's going to be trying to light his cigar with the nitro flies.
I'll be in the announcer's booth.
I know when I'm
with
out.
Bob's best friend, Mike English.
Or you could come by the Curry Rear Ends Hedman Hustler booth, and maybe Donnie will sign some autographs. Donnie, you got somebody on the line here?
Hey, we got John Hill here. He was a champion in the Nostalgia Funny Car deal.
Nice.
And, he's been a guest on the show. Well, last time we had him call in, he was en route to Bakersfield, the reunion. He pulled over, on the side of the road at a rest area, because that's where they were, him and Guy Tipton, and phoned in. So, hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Donnie. It's great to be here.
Well, I know it's been a long winter, and you're anxious to get out there and run that hot rod again. Has Guy Tipton got that thing together?
Yeah, we're ready to go, man. And not qualifying at the reunion made it a really long winter for us. We're ready to get back out there and redeem ourselves and qualify well, get in the show, and I want to win that race. I want to walk away from there with Wally and start the year off right.
Well, I wasn't even going to bring that part of it up. I know it was a rough deal for you because you had the chances of winning that championship there. And, not qualifying's tough, but, there's a lot of cars out there. It could happen to anybody. But, you got a first-class operation, and you're good with the fans. And, the car runs well all the time. Tribute to Guy Tipton, my buddy. But I know you're busy with airplanes and flying around and going to concerts and, carrying on. So I know you're ready to settle down and get back in that driver's seat.
Hey, John, we've got one of the country's best photographers here. Tara Windland will be out there taking pictures. So you might want to invite her into your pits. Let her know that you want a little bit of that high-profile publicity.
Well, believe it or not, Tara's like family to me and Karen. Her fiance, Chris Graves, another well-known photographer. He's like my little brother, and we see them regularly. In fact, we sat with them at the Winter Nationals on Saturday. So Tara and I are great friends, and I can't say enough about her and her recent success driving.
Hey, John, we appreciate you calling in the show. We know you're awful busy, and we're looking forward to seeing you up there at the March Meet.
Thanks for having me back, Donnie. It's always a pleasure.
Okay. Well, good luck up there.
Thank you.
Well, how about that? You didn't get a word in. Donnie was. You talked over Port Terrace. You wanted to say hello to John. You know?
Oh, man.
You know, it's business here, Terry. You got to just, what I usually do. What I do is
elbow.
I do a little elbow, maybe a kick in the ankles, and you'll get it next time.
Just stuff the cigar down his mouth.
Yeah. Ouch. Well, that wouldn't be nice.
Well, depends on how far it goes.
Now, speaking of being rough and tumble, we've got the manly and sophisticated Hot Rod Bob Beck. And Bob, tell us a little bit about your weekend.
Well, I spent the weekend at the Winter Nationals as well, but I had a different focus than Donnie did. I was actually working. But I also worked for the NHRA, and I was the MC of the, hi there, Donnie, of the Night of Champions at the NHRA Museum. And if you've never been to the NHRA Museum, that is a place you've got to put on your schedule. And when you come out to a race, whether it's the Winter Nationals or the finals, you get into the museum free. But we had a night with all the drivers, or not all the drivers, but we had a few drivers out there. We had Clay Millican, Tony Pedregon. Now, Cruz was supposed to be there, but they had a little problem with an explosion in Tony's car. Whoops. Separating the body in half. We also had Brandon Bernstein from the MAV TV Lucas Oil Top Fuel car. Your friend Ron Capps, Napa car, he was there, sitting right alongside Fast Jack Beckman, the 2012 Funny Car champ. You can see him up there. So we had a great talk with these guys. It took about an hour and a half. We discussed strategy, where they've been, where they're going to be, their favorite tracks. Ron talked about the aroma at the March Meet, and I told him it's Bandini Mountain, and do not swat the flies. They explode.
Oh, so I see you're using still photography.
Still, yeah, I still use photography. That's correct. And Jack Beckman there standing alongside me. The two ladies you saw before, if you remember the old chicken coop and drag cartoons, Pete Millar. Well, that's his daughter and his lovely wife. They are still promoting and bringing out the Pete Millar artwork for you.
That was great stuff, too.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. And she's still reproducing a magazine, and they have all his old artwork. Now, once you go through the museum, when you're not talking to the drivers like I got to do, you get a look at some of these great cars. Now, you see that yellow Roadster in the background. That's Dean Moon's old 34 Roadster. Now, he got that from Lee Gray, who ends up being a relative of my lady. So
what?
Yeah, and it's a strange
how
story.
come she didn't get the car?
Well, she was too young to realize what it was at the time.
All right.
But there are some great cars. There are Indy cars. There are hot rods. There are dragsters. There are funny cars. Here's an old Soxon Martin car, one of the stock eliminator machines.
Hey, I think that might have been either Appliance or Keystone Classic. No, it's
Those are
Keystones, man.
Yeah, Keystones.
Dude.
Yeah, and here's a funny car with Parnelli Jones funny car. You always think of Parnelli Jones turning right and left. Well, everyone got involved with drag racing, and here's his Mustang funny car. This is one of the cars that's credited as being one of the first, what they called, dragsters at the time. This was the Bug, and it was a flathead powered frame with a cowl and a steering wheel.
Holy cow.
But that's what, here's, to show you where drag racing has come from and what it's gone to. This car probably hit the hair raising speed of 80 miles an hour. Back at the time, that was one of the quickest cars out there.
It looks nice and safe, too.
Oh, yeah. As long as you keep it rubber side down, it's fine.
Well, it's funny, too. You could put a funny car body on this and sort of get away with it. But
it'd probably slow it down about 20 miles an hour, though. I mean, that's a flathead Ford. That's a lawnmower engine with 8 cylinders.
Hey, this is some sort of crazy custom Corvette, I guess.
Yeah, it was one of the early funny cars.
That was a friend of mine, Mike Mitchell from San Francisco, California, a dear friend of mine. Of course, he's not with us any longer. But
now, wasn't that the world's fastest hippie?
That's it. Had the hookah pipe painted on the front and Impeach Nixon on the back.
Impeach Nixon.
Yeah, he had it on the back. Hey, Bob, I got a question.
Yeah.
I noticed Tony Petragon was at the interview that night.
Yes, he was.
He said Cruz missed it.
Yeah,
Tony's car is the one that blew up.
Cruz was the one putting it back together.
Yeah, well.
They didn't hurt the chassis. They both made it to their rounds of eliminations. They didn't do quite so well. But Tony was really upset, and I hadn't seen his round. I had just gone back over to the museum, and we didn't know that the car had blown until after he got there.
I was in the stands out there right where it blew. It was horrendous.
Yeah, man. There are pictures of that, and we got to talking about that later on after the interviews, and it's a matter of, Steve Gibbs was saying, what do we do? We're running bombs down the track, and something's got to happen. They initially put that burst plate in the front of the bodies to try and relieve that pressure, didn't they? And that's not working.
With the amount of fuel that's running through those things, I mean, it's a bomb. If anything misfires or breaks, that's going to happen in those cars. And the bodies are flying up 150, 200 feet.
Yeah.
Pretty soon it's got to be a concern with NHRA. We've been lucky so far. They haven't hit any of the spectators.
Yeah,
They've gone on the right side of the track there where no one's at. But
They hit one.
They did?
One of the tires hit one spectator a couple of years ago, right?
Well, even before
that was at Phoenix.
that doesn't count.
And that was a dragster.
That was a bad situation over there.
I'm relegated to sitting in the stands sometimes, and we were sitting.
What, you?
Yeah,
every
once in a while.
Well, that's normal people. Wow.
Well, how does that qualify with you? Never mind. Whoa! Well, I was sitting across from the big screen. And two funny cars in a row had gone down and blew their tires about the 3/4 point. That was when they were still running quarter mile. And we got hit with shrapnel from the bodies and the tires. And I was up about probably 4 or 5 rows up. So it's not something that hasn't happened before, but it's something that's happening more and more now with the bodies coming apart. And Cruz was saying, or Tony was saying, when he drove for John Force, if he popped the body off, no big deal. John had 10 more back at the shop, and he put them back on. Well, now it's coming out of his pocket. So he was quite upset about that because they're on a shoestring budget anyway. And he and Cruz, California kids living in Indiana, that's a little culture shock for them.
Yeah, well, they got a nice shop back there, and they work together. And they've both been world champions, but Tony's struggled the last couple of years with tune-ups or crew guys. Or big thing over there is budgeting. And Cruz is doing good. Got a good sponsor with Snap-on. He's been helping his brother Tony out, so that's a good family thing there. Yeah, both Tony and Cruz have been championships. And one of the things that happened is they are the first brother duo to actually have to race each other. And in the 1992 race, it was the championships. They were back there side by side. Then we talked to Bernstein. Bernstein's also, he and his dad are the only two father-son team to win at the same race in 2 different categories. Huh. Yeah, Brandon in A Fuel and Jerry Darian's car. Yeah. And then his father in the Top Fuel car. Yeah. So that was good. We talked to Camps about his funny car fun and so forth, as you did. He'll be back up at the March meet. Jack Beckman's going to be up there too, but he's going to be watching. We've seen him drive. Yes, we have. As a matter of fact, they've seen a lot of him drive from the rear. Yeah. So we're looking for Lucky and Diana Might to be in the final together. That'd be a first, huh? Husband and
no,
wife.
Thank you. Yeah. No, thank you. No, I know better. Tara, have you ever had to race a significant other or somebody, when you're out racing in your dragster?
Actually, my fiance, Chris Graves, partner with the photography, this year, our car, we're putting a blower on it, 671 blower. I drove it was injected last year, but we'll actually be racing each other in the same class for the first time in the Southwest Heritage Racing.
Oh, same class, so you will be coming up against each other.
Super excited for that.
Yeah. Chris, let me give you a little advice on that. Lose. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Never hear the end of it, huh?
Bob. Great stuff for Great American Auto Scene tonight.
Yes, and we had fun at the Winter Nationals. It's going to be great. March meet coming up. We're all going to be there. You're going to be there in the tower when I'm not. I get to escape when you come up.
That's a good thing.
I know.
The only problem is you always take all the food with you, so there's nothing up there to eat.
Well,
and drink.
and all the graph, the T-shirts and things like that. We grab
the
before
wine,
you get up there.
the bottles of wine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I take the wine. Yeah.
Well, speaking of wine, if you've ever heard the whine of an electric engine going down the track, then
good transition.
You know what electric race cars are all about, and we've got a gentleman on the line. Like to welcome Michael. Michael, you like to be called T-Rex, don't you?
That's my middle name.
Well, T-Rex it is. And T-Rex, we'd want to thank you for being on Speed Scene Live. And I understand that you have, I've met you in the past before, but you have quite a history with electric drag cars.
Yes, I have built 3 world record-setting electric drag cars. So they're all, well, the 27 T-Bucket isn't street legal yet, but the other 2 are street legal. The blue car, which you just showed.
Now, what kind of a car?
Daily driver.
What kind of a car is this blue car?
It looks like a '65 Shelby Daytona, which I can say without violating trademark.
Oh yes.
Okay, so it's it's a very good-looking car, and if people sometimes get upset about modifying a Shelby Cobra, you could say, "Oh no, we did not. No Shelby Cobras were hurt in the construction of this car."
That's a fact. Yes.
Now, how fast is this car going the quarter mile? Because I've seen some great footage, and it looks like you're really going pretty good.
Right now, we don't have a quarter mile track down in San Diego. Last time we raced it, we did a 12.4, but by the time we were halfway down the track, we had run out of gear, because we were set up for our 8-mile runs. So with quarter-mile gears, we'd be right at the 12s, and then we also just took almost 100 pounds out of the car.
So you're running at Verona down near San Diego now.
That's our main track, yeah.
That's right. Now, you've got the volume on your computer up in the background. Please turn that down, because one of us is going to get confused, and it'll probably be me. Hey, now, you were recently trying to get together a project, put together a project, the funds, the construction, the parts, to create the very first 200-mile-per-hour electric Indy car. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Well, it seemed like a perfect alignment. We had an arrangement with the track. We knew where we could get some just retired Indy bodies fairly affordably, and because we've been doing this for 6 years, we've had good relationships with all of the battery and electric motor people. Unfortunately, one of our key people died while we were in the middle of the campaign, and that really hurt our ability to kind of follow through on the phone calls and everything else.
No, that's horrible. He wasn't electrocuted, was he?
No. That would have at least made a good story.
Oh, yeah, at least. Yeah. Hey, so, developing something like this, can you tell us a little bit about what's inside? What makes it go? What's the battery setup? Is it four-wheel drive motors, or how does the whole thing work?
Well, drag racing, the front 2 wheels aren't on the ground, so we certainly are only rear-wheel drive. We've got a motor in there that puts out over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque off the line.
Wow.
We're doing direct drive because it's both my daily driver and my dragster. With just my dragster, we'd be running a drag racing transmission, but it turns out those drag racing transmissions overheat after about 5 minutes.
Oh.
Which they don't care for some reason.
Yeah, I guess not. 5 minutes is an extremely long run.
Yes, our first battery pack was built out of DeWalt 36-volt pool batteries that we bought on eBay. Took apart in the garage while listening to music and telling stories. After we set our first 2 world records in both the 8th mile and quarter mile, we got the ability for the manufacturer to allow us to buy their batteries.
Wait a minute, you just said DeWalt tool batteries.
Yes, the 36-volt, 1 horsepower.
Like the ones at Home Depot? The ones where you plug into the back of your Sawzall?
on.
Wow.
How many do you use?
We used 92 of them originally.
Wow.
I can see you plugging them all in.
Those were then put into our Model T, which we built in 6 weeks from a frame without proper mounting plates.
Wow, man.
I'll talk about hot rod ingenuity.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So, poor in Wyoming, you want to get anywhere, you got to figure out how to build stuff.
That's right. When you're a pioneer, you're out in the front, but sometimes when you're a pioneer, you get a butt full of arrows, too. So.
Yeah.
Now, what's the reaction when you take a car like this to the track and say, I want to race my electric car? When you go into tech and they say, okay, where's your fuel gas tank? Or,
Yeah, fuel shutoff.
Yeah, what's the reaction of the tech guy?
Well, because the car is so clean and clearly not just, a jury-rigged piece of engineered stuff like they have to deal with, they just pretty much say, okay.
All right, now we're showing a Cobra Roadster on track right now. Is that also electrified?
Yes. That one still holds records for prototypes.
Wow.
That's amazing. And it's interesting, too. You can sort of hear in the background for our viewers, when you accelerate, there's a whine from the motor, but what you're mainly hearing is tires and nothing else.
Yeah. The motors we're using don't really whine very much, but the tires, when we were trying to do some exhibition at the Long Beach Grand Prix, we weren't getting enough smoke, and it turned out that our rear end was off the ground enough that we were getting air and not enough traction.
Wow.
It was a really high-pitched whine. Yeah, the tires probably doing close to 200 miles an hour, and we weren't moving.
So you're using the DeWalt batteries in the T. Are you also using them in the two Cobras?
No, in the Cobra, one of the Cobras, we bought the A123 batteries direct from the manufacturer, and then the Roadster, we got K1 batteries out of Las Vegas.
You're familiar with the K1 battery, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. Use it on your pacemaker. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, but I've got that dial so I can,
tone it down.
Yeah, raise it
or
up.
tune it up when you're going to
yeah.
interview, like John Force or something.
Yeah.
With a steel
they
photography.
don't catch fire or explode, so if you're going to have a battery in your pacemaker, I like that.
So now the IndyCar is on hold. Are you going to stop the project, or is it just on hold for a short period of time until your group can regroup?
Right now, we're hustling on getting the Blue Cobra ready for this racing season. We do have some people who we have been talking to about sponsoring it. If they come through, we could get it in the track in 2 months is the answer.
Now, if you create a 200-mile-per-hour electric Indy car, if you've got the vehicle, it works, everything's great, who will let you race it?
We had made arrangements with the Long Beach Grand Prix. They're going to let us really full blast after, of course, just doing a tech inspection.
How many laps can you go?
Well, they'll only let us do exhibition for like 3 laps, so it really doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can't you put the thing down on the track?
If you want to win.
Can you put the thing down on the track like the slot cars?
Yeah.
And do it that way?
Yeah.
Or drive through the city of Long Beach and just follow the electric bus line.
You're going to have to have a heck of an extension cord.
Man, you would, huh? Jeez.
Man, well, I think you should get sponsored by the DeWalt company. That would be a great sponsor.
No kidding.
Yes, I think they might not want to promote the hillbilly use of some of their products.
Any plans for an electric boat in the near future?
We actually have worked with a wakeboard boat company that has both electric and hybrid, Epic Boats. They recently moved their operation to the East Coast.
Wow.
Real good. I'm told that it picks up a little bit better, and the gas mileage improvement on the hybrid was incredible. I mean, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but your pocketbook would be going down by less than half.
Well, it's great talking to you. What's a website people can go to see more information on what you're doing?
S is in speed, I is in Indy, racing.com.
T-Rex, been a pleasure talking to you. Hey, maybe I'll see you this year at the Long Beach Grand Prix. I'll be out there again with the Cars for Kids organization, or the Racers Who Care organization. Oops, my bad. Sorry about that. And so I hope to see you there.
Me too.
Well, what do you think about that, Tara? Have you ever seen electric golf cars out there at the track?
Oh, golf cars, of course.
Yeah,
never seen an electric car. It's very intriguing.
I can see it as a front-motored dragster, you know?
Yeah.
A new junior class, you know.
Yeah.
You have the 10 DeWalt battery class, the 20 DeWalt. Now, Tara, let's we've been jumping all over tonight, but let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about A-Fuel and your history with the A-Fuel class.
Well, my uncle Rob Windland is a crew chief for Johnny Gray's Nitro Funny car.
Oh.
He actually drove a two-car team, the In-N-Out dragster, with Melanie Troxel back in the 90s. And I grew up watching him, and he was really my inspiration. And then I had the opportunity to work with a guy named Daryl Hitchman, who owned an A-Fuel car from California and then moved to Texas. I was always hanging around in the pits, wanting to help, and I earned my keep. I cleaned a lot of oil pans, and
always a wonderful job.
Finally got in there, and he let me do the bottom end a couple of times. I got the chance to go to the Gator Nationals in Indy, which was very cool. But yeah, he really gave me the opportunity to go out and travel and really get down in there and learn about the motor and stuff.
Is this your car we're seeing right now on
Yeah,
screen?
this is actually, it looks like Bowling Green, the final round.
And you won this round, correct?
Yes, I did.
How fast did you go?
I think that run, it was a 7:46. We won on a hole shot. It had a 003 light, and the margin of victory was 007.
Oh,
so
that's sweet.
it was really cool. If you look on this video right at the end, you can see the guy. I mean, oh, this gives me goosebumps. This race was just so awesome. It rained. I guess at Bowling Green it rains all the time there, but we got to run at night, and man, with all those people in the stands, it was just...
The great thing about Bowling Green is when it rains, nobody goes home. They all stay in the stands and wait.
Well, that's because they're cooling down.
Yeah.
They got a cover over the grandstand.
Yeah. Now, what class was this that you won?
This is Junior Fuel.
Junior Fuel. Now you are transitioning up to 7.0 Pro. You're going to go a little faster now.
Right. Daryl Walden, the owner of this car, gave me the opportunity to drive this car last year. I cannot thank him enough for giving me the opportunity and believing in me. We're stepping it up to a blower. I'm super excited to be going faster. This car is a Neal & Parks from wheel to wheel, 225 inches, 383 small block power glide. It's fun to drive, man. I drove a Super Comp rear engine car, and this car is just a totally different animal. I love it.
Well, Neal & Parks, they cut their teeth on Junior Fuel and A-Fuel chassis. So they're definitely the guy. They were the guys to beat there for a couple of years.
Well, they're still building a lot of nostalgia top fuel cars out there. Great chassis builders out there.
Right. Scott actually drove this car the year before I hopped in it. So.
Well, it was sorted out by the right guy then.
Yeah, he actually went to the finals the year before that in Junior Fuel, and then I ended up winning it last year. So.
Now, you didn't just step into these cars. You started out in the junior dragster ranks.
Right. I started racing when I was 8, so this will be my 15th year behind the seat of a dragster. So.
Oh, my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And no sponsors, right? You're actually currently looking for a company to sponsor you?
We are seeking marketing partnerships for the 2013-14 season. We're about to launch a website, but you can visit the association that we race with, shraracing.com, to keep up with this year, and hopefully we'll be able to make it to the reunion. We're seeking sponsors for traveling to Bowling Green and the reunion this year. So.
Now, this was a great in-car footage, but you don't have any footage of you getting out of the car going, I won! I won!
Actually, I'm about to post a video on YouTube of the deleted scene from that video.
Oh, that sounds good. I like the sound of that.
The outtakes from Bowling Green,
Yeah, it was.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Different kind of video.
I always go too far.
Don't forget her boyfriend's over there, fiance. He's not looking friendly.
I got out of the car and I had no idea who won. I didn't see the win light or anything. I went over and asked the other guy, Ken Hawkins, and he didn't know who won. So we were sitting down there for probably 5 to 10 minutes waiting for the crew guys to get down there. Finally, they told me that I won, and I was just could not believe it. And then I had to wait another 10 minutes for Daryl and my fiance Chris to come down there, and it was just waterworks. It was night I'll never forget, that's for sure.
That's good.
Well, and what a great place. The Beach Bend track, Bowling Green is such a fantastic facility, and the people are so nice, and it's such a huge event with all those big names, and what a great place for a win like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to going back this year.
Okay, well, I got a couple questions here. While we run this video, maybe I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I got to scroll down. I got these crew updates on thefote.com, and Tara would like to know, what kind of camera setup do you use? Now, this is a professional photographer talking to a professional photographer.
We shoot Nikon. I have a Nikon D7000 with a 70 to 300 lens on there.
So it's 70 to 300? Man.
200, sorry. 70 to 200.
Even that, though, that's you can stretch a lot of things with a lens like that.
Yeah.
Nice. And what's mounted on the car?
On this car?
Yeah, or any of the cars you guys shoot for the, the GoPro style replay XDs or whatever.
Yeah, we use GoPro cameras, which is on this one. This is actually a car that I got to drive last year. Also, Charlie Smith used to run Top Fuel back in the day. That was him walking by. But I got to drive that car at Denton, which is there, but that was a lot of fun, too.
Now, this is the Denton track, and do you do most of your racing in Texas? I mean, I know you went to Bowling Green, but primarily, are you a Texan racer?
Yeah, we go to the Motorplex, Denton, a couple other tracks, but mostly all of our races are based out of Texas, yeah.
Now, you haven't quite worked out the deal where you can, like, for example, you're going to the March meet in a couple weeks to shoot photos. You can't just slide a front-engine dragster in the trailer somewhere and shoot some photos, make a pass. You can't pull that off?
No, actually, my fiance Chris and I, we live in a fifth wheel, and that's how we travel. We have a toy hauler, and the golf cart fits in the back, and then Daryl, the car owner, brings the car separately, but...
A real racer would leave the golf cart at home and put the dragster in there. I know Donnie does that all the time.
She could extend the wheelbase. Yeah, she could extend the wheelbase on the golf cart, put a big electric motor in there.
You can be a
supercart.
Nostalgic electric.
Or pull an Alex Roggio and tow the car with itself.
Yeah, well, Alex has been posting she's on her way back east. They're driving the car back east to get the new motor, and they're going to drive it back out.
That's insanity.
And we're hoping to have footage of that. Alex will be on the show next month. She's coming back. And actually, we have an announcement about Alex.
Yes.
Alex will now be one of our regular co-hosts on the show. She will be coming in quite often. Of course, she races a lot, and she does a lot of different things, so she won't be on every week, but hopefully she'll be on as much as possible. And one of the things that she's going to talk about is that motor swap and what it's like to drive from Virginia to California with a 10-second supercharged race car.
Yeah.
It's out of control, man.
And it's got air conditioning, too.
Yeah. Turn that CD player on and crank up the AC. And
keep an eye on the gauges, I guess.
Yeah,
gauges.
I don't know. It's
we don't need those stinking gauges.
Yeah.
Well, Tara, we've really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you.
It's been a crowded show, a lot going on tonight, so I hope we got to spend with you. And, of course, Donnie, always a pleasure. Donnie, you're going to be on the Sam Oxer Jr. radio show next Monday, and I did actually get a couple questions on thefote.com. People want to know, how you got your start in drag racing. You were talking about the problems with the oil downs and stuff. They wanted to have some of your input on that. So maybe we'll have to get into that on Sam's show.
Yeah, we can do that. I guess it's, what is it, 2-hour show, and you're on it for
a half hour.
Half hour.
Yeah, I'm a lightweight.
You're on in Australia, you're on in back east.
Don't forget
where am I supposed to go? What studio?
Don't forget my Drag Illustrated column every month in Drag Illustrated magazine. Check out the Sportsman Spotlight, and I do all this for you, the viewers.
See, that's why you have good sponsorship for all the race cars. No, I'm just saying. Look, you got to keep. Visibility is important. Lucky's a good example of that. There I go. I
hard work. It's that work ethic, right, Donnie?
Well, I'm still trying to get over the guy said his main guy for the IndyCar died, and you're making a joke out of it.
Well,
he's been electrocuted. Thinking the poor guy might have been his dad. He's probably in shock right now.
We all got to go.
You're saying shock.
Now that's
there
really
you go.
No pun intended.
Don't crowd.
Use a pun, go to prison.
That really hurts.
Hurts rents cars. Hurts rents cars.
We all got to die, and it's not how you die that's important. It's how you live. And spend your time at the racetrack every possible moment you can, whether you're a spectator or racer. Go out, see some drag racing, off-road racing, Indy racing, whatever it is you love and you're passionate about. Enjoy your time that you're here on Earth at the racetrack.
Well done. Hey, Hot Rod Bob, good to see you in studio again.
Thank you.
You too, Donnie Couch?
Well, we'll be in Phoenix this weekend for Speed Scene Live.
Working on your tan, huh?
Yeah,
working on the tan.
And movie cameras, not still photography. Some people.
Oh, man.
Hey, thanks, everybody, for watching. Tara, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
All right. Coming up next, All Torque TV, direct from Australia. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to check out our archives page, and, of course, the YouTube channel. There's a ton of videos going way, way back, so you can check that out, too. From all of us at Speed Scene Live, hey, again, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back a week from now right here at SpeedSceneLive.com.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, and TheFoat.com.